if I'm not able to gauge how the audience is receiving the story right now, then I guess this show is really just for me. Because somebody recently, an actor, described to me I never really liked bowing on stage. And he was like, well, have you ever looked at it as that you're saying thank you to the audience who is there watching your performance? And I was like, how have I been acting since like the 6th grade? And this is the first time that I hear that that's what a bow is supposed to be. And then I was able to connect it to like, like the Greeks and why we did it. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. But it was never said to me. So I just never took it that way. And I always looked at it, it's like a personal thing. And so I kind of do the opposite of that, right? If I'm not getting that from the audience, then it's like, well, then this is just tonight's for me. Tonight's my reminder of why I love doing what I do. Because even if I can't tell if the audience is with me, like I'm with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? It's your motherfucking boy, Gamero, the Pharaoh, the poor man's Robert De Niro. You know what I'm talking about, bald version, but still beautiful. God, I'm gonna have to make a Harvey Dent reference at one point. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Two-Face, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Batman. Ladies and gentlemen, I am also very ecstatic, you know what I'm saying, to be back. You know, it's been a minute. It's been quite a hiatus, you know what I'm saying, since our last episode. Typically, every Thursday at midnight is when you can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Deezer, podcasts, all that good stuff. And I know that you had been remiss in episodes for the past month and change. But the reason why is presented to you here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I was cast in a phenomenal production of Rapture, Blister, Burn, you know what I'm saying? And I am also very ecstatic to be able to introduce some of the cast of Rapture, Blister, Burn today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Daniel, Nieves, Amanda Ortega, and Kat Svadbik. How are you today? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. Man, what a way to be back. Danny, talk to us. First of all, how's everybody doing? Danny, how are you?
I am excellent, Juan. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you for having us back again. Me back again.
Okay.
And the ladies for the first time.
You know what I'm saying? We always try to show a little love to Main Street. You know what I'm saying? We always try to show a little bit of love. Amanda, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, you know what I'm saying? We living, you know what I'm saying? You hear that reverb, that echo, that's your voice, you know what I'm saying? Kat, how you living? Talk to us. How is everything?
I'm good, Juan. I'm so happy to be here on the podcast. So excited. My very first feature on Midnight in Miami.
You know what I'm saying? There we go. First, but definitely not last. You know what I'm saying? You're soon to be a podcast extraordinaire yourself. You know what I'm saying? We're going to dive into that as, in a bit as well. Shout out to our in-house studio audience today as well. You know what I'm saying? How you guys doing? How you living? You know what I'm saying? They're out here with notebooks looking mad professional. Okay. Guys, where do we begin? I want to talk, you know what I'm saying? I want to begin with the man of the hour himself.
About all that.
You know what I'm saying? There we go.
Easy, Tiger. Easy, Tiger.
Talk to us. When did you first read the play? How did picking this production come about? Talk to us about the roots of it all.
Well, I read the play back at the end of 2019. At the time, I was still the artistic director at the theater, and I was looking for plays, and I won't lie, I wanted a play about women. You know, it was obviously something that was going on in the world, and I knew that I wanted to have a play that was focused primarily on telling the story from a woman's perspective. And I'm not even going to lie, I just Googled it. Plays about women.
There we go.
Pretty fucking simple.
Hell yeah.
And this was one of the ones that had popped up, did a little research about it. It was runner-up for the Pulitzer Prize in 2012, whatever year it was that it was nominated. And I was like, you know, Zoetic had done it, but like years ago.
Okay.
So I bought a copy, I read it, and for you guys, you understand, scene 1.2 was the scene that I was like, holy shit. This is a scene with the tri-generational woman's perspective, debating all the issues that are the central thesis of the show. And right then and there, I knew this is the one. It only had 5 people. You know, it had 5 meaty roles for all the actors. Nobody could say like, oh, I'm just a bit part. No, everybody had a shining moment. And yeah, after that, it's just, you know, shooting an email over to Dramatist Play Service and applying for the rights, and we got them.
Damn. Guys, talk to us about the audition process. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I'll go first on that. So I knew that Rapture, Blister, Burn was going to be happening because last summer I actually ushered for Wolf and Badger, which was my first production that I would see at Main Street Players.
Big shout out. They were prior guests on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, yes, Wolf and Badger. Great show. Awesome world premiere. So happy I got to be a part of working for that show. So when I was ushering, I had a talk with Danny, and he mentioned resurrecting Rapture, Blister, Burn. What he doesn't know is that I would go home to proceed to order the play. And I read the play almost immediately so that I would know. I mean, one, I wanted to know the story of the show to see if there was anywhere that I could fit in with it. But also it's just so important, you know, like as an actor, you want to know what you're auditioning for. And right now we're in an interesting season where there are a lot of world premieres happening. And I think that that's exciting too. But for an actor, it's so gratifying when you can have a show that's already been in existence, that you can order the play, that you can do the research, you can read the work.
Right.
And Gina Gianfrido is an amazing playwright. You know, she won the Pulitzer for her previous play, Becky Shaw. So I knew that her text was going to be something I was going to like. So lucky me that it had a character like Avery inside of it.
What a character too. And I respect that you bought the play, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm out here on sketchy websites looking for PDFs and shit, you know what I'm saying? But that's how I looked for it. Amanda, talk to us about the audition process. What was that like for you?
So I really didn't know much of the play at all. And I Googled as well. And I found like the first 7 pages of the script, and I was like, all right, let me do some reading. And then when the callback happened, I was called back for the role that Kat played, Avery, and I didn't read for that role once. And I was like, I'm not going to be cast. This is not going to happen.
Right.
And I really thought it was done for. I read for the character Catherine, that I got to play, and then Gwen. And those were 2 women that were in their 40s, and I'm 33. So I was like, I'm not going to get this. And it was a surprise because I really enjoyed reading for Kathy. And then I got cast.
Damn, there we go.
You only thought you were getting called back for Avery. At no point in time did I ever indicate to you what role you were being called back for. I never considered you for Avery. That's why you read for Catherine and Gwen.
The truth comes out.
No, that was your own like, oh, I could still play 20 or I can't play 40. Like you're right in the middle. I mean, you could, but
going for the jugular,
no,
bro.
At the end of the day, I always considered you for Catherine for sure.
Not even Gwen at any point?
No.
Okay. Talk to us about the casting process. Was it difficult? Was it close calls? Could it have gone, any other way? Talk to us about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, Avery was the most difficult role to cast because there were so many Averys. Obviously, it's not a secret. There's a lot of talented younger females in theater, just in Miami in general. Dawn, the role that you played was by far and away the hardest one. We only had 1 male come to the audition.
Shout out,
so I was literally like texting and emailing every male actor I could.
Hell yeah.
To be like, hey, you want to act? You want to be in a play? But everybody was busy. Everybody was doing something. And then I was like, shit, I forgot about Juan. I'm going to hit up Juan. Fuck it. And you came. You didn't even audition. You came right to a callback.
Yeah.
Honestly, I saw that you guys had good chemistry from the jump. And right there on the spot, I was like, all right, man, you want to be in this play? Let's do it. I don't got time to waste.
Yeah,
2 weeks had already gone off the clock basically since the audition. So I knew right then and there the fact that you guys had chemistry was all I really needed to see.
There you go.
If she would have said, fuck this guy, I hate him, I'd have been like, sorry, Juan, but she hates you. Next.
Oh, damn, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you for not hating me.
You're welcome.
Being a director, do you at any point, at no point did you try to micromanage us? Is that difficult for you? Is it difficult for you to give actors slack? Is it easy for you? Talk to us about that.
I don't like to micromanage just in general. I feel that actors are the ones that have to act the role, not me. they have to make the choices that they're the most comfortable with. As long as they make sense and they fit into the macro vision that I have of the play, I'm fine with giving them liberty to make their own creative choices. I feel like forcing a choice on an actor, they're just gonna do it, and they're not gonna really feel it, and they're not gonna really be truthful in the moment. So that's why I kind of just let you guys do whatever you want. And if you did something that wasn't really working, then I'd say, it's not working, try something different. But most of the stuff that you guys brought to the table always worked. So.
Do you guys have a preference as far as someone that's a little bit overbearing or giving you more slack?
I like to kind of like go with the flow and feel the stage, like just go with it, not get so much direction. And Danny did a great job of, we would do the scene first, and then he would go like, okay, here are notes, implement these notes, and then let's go again. And I really enjoyed that.
Kat?
100%. I agree with what Amanda said too. That was really, really helpful in like letting us getting to explore our impulses first and then working off of that. And I also really liked, I think the only thing that you did that was like a little micromanagey was having us warm up together every rehearsal, which is something I wish that I had in a lot of other processes, because I think as a professional, you start to learn that that's things that are left up to the actor, but they affect the group so much. And I don't think that we would have had the chemistry that, well, they had it from the start, but I don't think we would have had the chemistry as an ensemble if we didn't do something like that every day. It helped to like break down our walls so that we could just work in the space after.
I think we definitely all bonded, especially Laura and I struggling with Peter Piper.
Yeah, honestly, I've been leading a group warm-up in every show I've ever directed, because it's like I told you guys, good habits are built like every day. Like a routine is what builds good habits. And I like to start the rehearsal off with a routine. And I tell you what, it's literally been the same dumbass warm-up. I don't even know if it warms you guys up, but at least it gets everybody like focused, vision. And yeah, I like to just have that sort of camaraderie building moment. Zip, zap, zup's always fun, and then, you do need to warm up, you know what I mean? So it's a win-win.
What do you guys think is, you mentioned from day one how the chemistry was there. What do you guys think is a component that needs to be there in order for a group to kind of just have that sort of spark,
No one's an asshole.
Respect.
Good start.
Yeah, that's very true. Good start.
We respected each other, and we actually just genuinely liked each other and communicated with one another. Before rehearsals, we would talk and say, hey, how was your day? And we would have actual conversations, then get to work on rehearsal, and then go back, talk, get to know each other. And I think that really helped us grow and connect.
Kat?
I also think that what was so special about this production was that it was the first for Main Street in their new space.
Very true.
Right? This was the very first show at 6812 Main Street in Miami Lakes.
There we
Shout
go.
it out. You guys know
Big
what
shout
it
out.
is.
Big shout out. Damn.
Throw that Addy.
God.
And
Right.
so,
Ready
I
to
had to send it
go.
to so many people.
God.
And I think that there was something really special in the room, from that first table read while we were rehearsing in the warehouse for the theater
yeah.
as it was being created, that all of us were going to be a part of something so special and so memorable for the entire theater. We were a larger team than I think we would normally be for these productions, because we saw everyone who was a part of Main Street that we wouldn't have normally seen like until the run started, kind of thing. But like walking in for that line run that we had the Saturday before Tech, and seeing all of the faces was just, there's a lot of camaraderie,
Oh, yeah.
about like we're all literally just trying to make theater happen right now.
Oh, that's
Way
the
to throw
T-shirt.
the
That's the
slogan in
T-shirt
there.
too,
Way to
right
work
there.
the
That's the
slogan.
T-shirt. Okay, I see that plug. I like it. I like
mean,
it.
It's like both the ladies said. It's about respect. It's about open communication, and it's about just not being an asshole. And since 2019, every time I direct a show, I kind of do like a little interview. I ask questions. I try to get to know the actor before I even call them back. Like I knew both of you, so I didn't really have to ask you any questions. But other actors who I didn't know, I always, tell me a little about yourself. Like, how did you get into acting? How do you deal with adversity? When things aren't going your way and the shit hits the fan, how do you deal? Because as you guys well know, at any point in time in any show, shit could hit the fan, adversity could fall upon you, and I want to know, how do you handle that? Do you fold like a cheap suit, or do you rise to the occasion like a motherfucking champion? And you rose to the occasion like a fucking champion, and I know you would.
Appreciate that, brother. Did you at any point fear that you were not gonna make it in time as far as the theater being built in time?
Absolutely fucking not. There was never any doubt that things would get done.
Really?
Yeah.
There was no doubt.
I really believe you can't live with doubt. You got to always believe and know that you're going to get it done no matter what. And if you don't, well, fuck it. You'll do it again next time. But you can't let doubt creep into your mind, because then you just lose it. It's a slippery slope. So I never let doubt enter my mind. You know?
What was that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Just like you. You know what I'm saying? What was the reaction like for you guys when you got the news that you've been cast?
I was at my day job that I was really miserable at. Sorry, guys.
Shout out day job. You know what I'm saying?
But I cried. I was so happy. I had auditioned for Main Street since 2014 when I graduated with my BFA from FIU. Go Panthers. And I was like, finally. It's like working so hard and finally getting that yes. It felt so damn good.
Kat?
So I missed the call originally. So my experience was hearing Danny's extremely monotonous voice saying, "Hi, Kat, this is Daniel Nieves from Main Street Players. If you can just give me a call when you get this message." And I was like, fuck, I didn't get the role.
Oh, damn.
He's calling to tell me, like, thanks for coming in, but, you know, maybe next time. You want to work on the crew or something?
Right.
And then I called him.
Right.
I called him back, and he was like, "Hey, Kat, what's up?" And then he let me know that I had received the role and asked me if I wanted to take it. And I was like, hell yes. And I was just so excited because I'd known Danny for, over 6 months through the theater, and I really, really, really wanted to work with him. I had heard wonderful things about him as a director. So it was just like, an affirmation.
He's all right.
An affirmation that I was in the right place, doing everything that I needed to do. It was just a matter of time.
Man.
Well, if I could just say one thing, I'd never call anyone who doesn't get cast. If you don't get cast, you don't get anything from me. Not a call, not an email, nothing. Because that's how it is in the real world.
Ni binga.
Nothing.
I love it.
But if you get cast, you always get a call. And I'll tell you what, the call is just as much for you as it is for me. Because as a director, there's few feelings more gratifying than, here you go, a role. And hearing the actor be like so excited, it makes my day. And when the director for the next show picked his cast, I said, make sure you call them. And he was like, why? I would just email them. I'm like, no. Believe me, you're going to love how they react. And the next day, he texted me and he was like, you were so right. It's the best feeling ever. Yeah. I'm like, I know. Because you're the one that gives the role. You've just made someone's day. They don't know that they're going to get picked. You just gave them the best fucking surprise they're going to get all week. And yeah, so you always get a call if I cast you in a show.
Damn.
What about you, Juan?
What about me?
When you got cast?
Actually, Danny already mentioned it. I had he had sent me a message, told me to come in and read. I read with a certain somebody, I remember I was, like I said, I was able to find a PDF online, and I was able to read it the night before. So I remember you giving us you were very gracious with the time. You're like, oh, get ready for it. And I was like, I got ready last night, so we were kind of reading it, but I wasn't really reading it. I was just like, let's do this, Yeah. And we did. I forgot what scene we read.
It was 1.3, because that was the scene that Catherine and Dawn that I always put, because it's both you guys, and it's a good scene.
It's a great scene.
I'm pretty sure. Almost positive.
It's a great scene. And then that was one of the handful of times that I was offered the role on the spot, which was very dope, Yeah. Gracious for that. Ladies and gentlemen, every single week, you know what I'm talking about? We have three segments, and the first one is actually called Mail Time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Blues Clues. Stole that shit from them, boy. We're losing against Tampa already, by the way. 1-0, boy. Shout out the Panthers. But in this beautiful segment, Mail Time, we ask our beautiful here guests questions that you yourself have submitted through the DMs, you know what I'm saying, on the IG. So make sure to hit that follow button on the IG, you know what I'm saying, Midnight in Miami, and send in those questions in. Here we go. Guys, what was the most challenging part of this entire production for you? And we will start with Kat.
So I think the most challenging part of the production for me was, I think this was really the first time that I'd been gifted a role that was just like, I wouldn't necessarily call Avery a light, but I do think that she was definitely like the type of character that when she enters the room, the entire mood changes.
Oh, yeah.
And for the better, I feel. I feel like in the past, a lot of characters that I play, it's like I'm almost typecast as a very, like a bright spirit, but who has something very downtrodden about her, or she's really, really struggling with something that's like at the forefront. It's very like in her public face, not so much something she's trying to hide. And Avery was someone that I felt like she's got so much more to her than what she's dealing with inside, and she almost really would rather never talk about it because she understands that there are other things that are more important, especially from like the perspective of this show, which is, it's not Avery has a story, but it's not Avery's story. And so it was so much fun being able to tap into a character like that, but it was challenging because it was the first time. So I kind of just had to like throw doubt out the window, throw fear out the window, just walk into a rehearsal space ready to play, because I was going to need to play like I never have before in order to really like nail the spirit of Avery Willard.
And you did. You did. Let me just tell you,
It was a lot of fun.
I was a fan. I was like, I got the best seat in the house. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like, honestly.
I wish we had more time together, though.
I wish
we had our own scene.
I wish we. Oh, I know.
Gina.
I know. But that handshake we had, I'll cherish it forever.
Me too.
Amanda, talk to us.
So first and foremost was the lines. It was
That's another question I was going to ask for sure.
Yeah. I had moments where I was like, oh my God, I sorry. I had doubts.
No,
Lord knows.
I felt like I wasn't going to get off book. I mean, this was the first play I had done in over like 2 years, I think. And I had never been gifted with such a leading role in my life. And I was terrified. And then also going through the emotional roller coaster of Catherine and the ups and downs of the fear of losing her mother, the relationship that she has, like the love. Like in my own personal life, I was going through a lot of ups and downs in my personal relationship with my ex-boyfriend. And then doing this on stage, it was like, whew. But, it made me a better and stronger actor.
There you go. Art imitates life, or is it
Yeah.
life imitates art? Danny, talk to us.
Yeah, I'll say two quick things. Avery was my favorite character.
Sheesh.
And
Yeah.
I
you
mean, by
give
far.
great emotion, Amanda. Your face is like super expressive, so we all went on that emotional roller coaster. For me personally, I would say the hardest thing was building a theater and a set at the same time. Never had to do that before. That was fucking nuts. Thoroughly enjoyed it though. Loved nothing more than being there till 4 a.m. Loved nothing more than being there Saturdays from fucking 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 12-hour days. I lived for it. I didn't really care. But I hope I never have to do that again. It was like that time I went to jail. It was fun.
Hell yeah.
It was a good story.
Right.
But I don't want to do it again.
Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's funny you say about her emotion. I told her this, and I'll stand by this. I always said, I wish I could laugh like Danny and cry like Amanda. Because that's fucking, if you go to a theater production, you're going to hear Danny laughing.
Sure.
And then if Amanda has to do a show where she needs to cry, I mean, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, phenomenal answers. What was your favorite performance out of the entire run?
I know mine.
Go for it.
Okay, so there was this Saturday where we had our breakup scene, and Oh my God, it was just so good. I remember just like coming off stage, and when I come off stage, I have to haul ass to get to the other side of the stage to get back on for the closing scene. But I remember running around, and Laura is sitting there. She would usually listen to our scene, and she goes, "Oh my God, when I heard you do this like release of breath for when I cry," she was like, "I felt that." And I was like, hell yeah. And it felt so good because the goal of an actor is to make the people watching feel something. And so, yeah, I think that was the second Saturday that we performed, or third. No, it was a Saturday on either the second Saturday.
Okay. Awesome. Kat?
Yeah, I know it was a second Saturday because you, like, after that moment, it was like a huge shift in like the entire show. And it was like we still had half of our run before I remember. So my favorite performance was actually our last Friday performance, which shout out to my besties because they were there that show.
Big shout out. Woo, woo,
Which
woo, woo.
was one of the reasons why I think it was such a strong performance. I think that, you know, it goes without saying, especially in intimate theater spaces like Main Street, that the audience really influences the show. And I don't mean that in a way of like, we don't perform the show to be like, you know, we're not performing it in a way that like the house should really manipulate the story that we're telling. But it's ridiculous to say that they don't influence, you know, our choices that we make in that moment to tell that same story. And I just felt like that Friday night performance with me, we had such a beautiful house that was really, really with us, like every step of the way. We got audible reactions to a lot of moments within the show. And it was just, I just thought it was really, really fulfilling. You know, I think we all knew when we walked off the stage that day that we had done a good show, you know, without needing to like say hello to everybody. It was very well received. And then it proceeded to make the Saturday performance right after that. I'll never forget that one because I think that was actually our strongest story.
Oh, yeah.
Our very last Saturday show. Yeah.
Oh.
That was also the most packed house, far and away.
Really?
There was like almost 35 people there that.
Damn. What about you, Danny?
Oh, that's an easy one. My favorite's preview. Always, every time. I love preview. Number one.
You're a bum.
Exactly. The preview audience that we bring, they're very vocal. A lot of them, it's their first time ever even in a theater. You know, it's usually the guys from the Miami Rescue Mission and the ladies from the Miami-Dade foster care. So these are a lot of foster parents, and these are a lot of like, you know, people who have gotten clean off drugs, off alcohol, and are trying to reform their life. But they come in there and they're like talking to you. Mm-hmm. So it really tests your mettle as an actor. Yeah. Plus, preview is usually the last time I see the show. Because after that, like, my job's done. I'm out in the front shelling tickets. Now that there's a bar on Main Street, shout out to Garrison's. I love you guys. I just walk over to the bar and start drinking the beers and just hanging out. And yeah, I don't really watch the show after preview. So preview is always my favorite one.
Have you ever had to intervene post opening?
No.
No?
No. Usually if I have to intervene, it happens before the opening. After that, it's too late. Like, you guys are on your own at that point. You notice I didn't give you any more notes.
No.
Wednesday, I think I might have given you like maybe 1 or 2 notes, but like after preview, that's it. Like, now it's on you guys. Now it's the stage manager's job to run things. It's you guys to take all the notes and all the things that we've discussed during rehearsal and make it happen, and try to keep it as consistent as you can while still leaving yourself room to grow and to, you know, continue as an artist. But, you know, that's it. After that, my job's done, man.
Yeah. And speaking of stage managers, big shout out Shayna, you know what I'm saying? Big shout out. Big shout out. Don't remind her. And this is the last question from our mail time segment. I mean, it's a pretty, I think the answer is kind of like one, but whatever. Most memorable rehearsal story. I think there's only one that comes to mind, but, you know, you guys can, you know. Well, there's one big one that comes to mind. It was there wasn't even a rehearsal. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
You can go.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that Amanda did have a very pivotal moment in our rehearsal process. So the one that was memorable for me was this, I believe it was our second Friday. I don't remember which rehearsal it was. but it was Amanda's last day at her job. And so I remembered that because that reminded me of the moment that I also decided to end a toxic job. It wasn't a toxic place, but it was a toxic job for me. And so I just wanted to edify her for that, making that big change as an artist, of stepping out of a job that's not serving you. And so for me, that was an incredible rehearsal because I just felt the weight that was lifted off of your shoulders. I know I didn't tell you that, but yeah, that was a special day for me too.
I was actually going to say the day that I did quit, or was my last day, because Kat actually brought like treats, chocolate covered strawberries, and like macaroons and pedophores. And I thought it was just the sweetest thing. Like I've never felt encouraged as much as I had to just pursue just acting, like just go for it and have people like really back me on it. And it felt like, damn, these people are incredible. It's more than a cast right now. So yeah, I thought you were gonna say though my mini breakdown day, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
You're the only one that recalls that. I mean, I recall it, but I'm like, yo, whatever. Seriously.
Everybody only recalls their own breakdown.
Yeah, that's very true. That's true. Wait, but I want to know, what rehearsal were you thinking?
I was thinking about the wine day that we didn't rehearse at all. We're just like, yo, let's fucking drink, yo. That's rehearsal today.
Well, that was the day that I was gonna say. I think that was like the third Friday, where apparently there was like a terrible accident on 75. Somebody tried to cross the highway and died. I don't know. But
They got hit by a semi.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for you if you're walking on the highway. Yeah, no, zero sympathy. Don't do it. Pretty simple. So, like Icarus got too close to the sun. Can't feel bad for the
baby.
guy.
That's Danny.
So Lori gets there at like 8:30. This poor woman, God bless her. She's coming all the way from fucking Cooper City or Delray Beach, all the way from Delray Beach. And the first thing she says when she walks in is, "Where are the goddamn martinis?" And everyone just lost it laughing.
The timing was impeccable.
And the best part is, I don't think I've told any of you guys this, but that bottle of wine that I pulled out of my car, that had been in there since Christmas.
Hell yeah.
But I wasn't going to tell you guys that day because you guys were going to be like,
we're talking about rotten olives over here, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about rotten olives.
In my head, I was like, you know something? I'm pretty sure, because I had just found it like a couple days earlier, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I still have that bottle of wine someone gave me for Christmas. I'm going to get that shit out of my car. We're going to fucking drink it. And that's what we did. And then the next Friday, Laura brought wine.
Yeah.
So if we would have had more Fridays, that would have definitely become a Friday tradition. And I'll tell you what, probably from now on, I'm going to do that every Friday if I have to rehearse.
Look at what we started. So, look at what we started.
Yeah. It'll be a tradition that you guys start.
What an honor.
Yeah.
God, that is an honor. Guys, talk to me about the importance of going to watch live theater.
I mean, I think it's important to support your fellow artists within this industry because it's tough, especially after COVID or still COVID times.
The pandy.
People aren't going as much. And so I think the support of fellow artists is key. And also it just makes people feel good. Like, oh, hey, I was in a show with you like 5 years ago and I'm here. But it just makes people feel special.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that, we talk about it all the time when we're backstage. The most appreciative that we are of the people who react in the audience. And that's something that you can really only understand if you are a performer as well. So when you're out there, like watching your friends, like in these shows, or you don't know anyone in the show, but you appreciate the company and you want to be there to support, like you also understand how you need to be in that house to show that to them, and you influence all of the other people in the house. You're giving them permission too, that like, oh, I can react even though like someone's crying on stage right now, but that's like funny as hell. Like it's okay to laugh at that. Of course it's okay to laugh at that. The director wanted to do that. Like that's a showing appreciation for the moves that they've made. And also I think it's so important. I went to New World School of the Arts. I'm an alumni from there.
Big
from
shout
my
out.
BFA program. And they always stressed to us the importance, even though we had no time, we were in school from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., but they would always stress, like, if you didn't see a show this week, how can you call yourself, like an actor who wants the arts to thrive? Because if you're not supporting what you're studying or want to pursue yourself, how can you possibly grow as an artist? And so that's always stuck with me. And I make sure You know, sometimes you're exhausted, you know, especially when you're working on a show. The last thing you want to do is go to a theater. And you can continue to tell yourself that as long as you want, but it's not true. It's something you're saying as an excuse, you know, like not to go out and do something. But if you love what you do, you should be able to sit down in the theater and enjoy watching other people love what they do too.
Oh, very true, very true. Danny, you had mentioned to me you were making a very conscious effort to go out and watch more theater. Why is that? Talk to me about that.
Well, for me, as now the vice president of MSP, it was important to just get out in the community and represent.
Okay.
And
you're gonna drop it like it's
people
nothing.
That like, hey, we're here too. You know, like I'm coming out to support you. I've been more and more involved in the theater league. Shout out to them, South Florida Theater League, with the producers forums that they've been doing and getting sort of as many artistic directors and producers and theater administrators in the same room to basically coalesce and sort of try to continue to grow the industry down here. You know what I mean? So it was very important for me personally to show my face and actually be like, hey, you know, I'm an administrator here at this theater now, and I'm coming out and supporting, and I hope you can come out and support us, because a rising tide lifts all boats. You know, so if we're all doing, if someone's doing well, like everybody should be doing well. So
I assume that it's gratifying for you when you know what I'm saying, when we go to the Cuban vote or water by the spoonful or whatever the case, and people associate you and us with MSP and that sort of thing.
The MSP team was the highlight of both shows that we went to go see. Like, hey, it's the MSP team. Yes, it fucking is.
There
How
we
you
go.
doing? Here we are. When are you gonna come visit us? Jerk off. I kid, but it's true. Like, again, you want it to be reciprocal, but I understand that takes time. So I hope that as the theater community continues to grow, we all continue to support each other, large and small. You know, it's not just the small companies, but the big companies too. So,
Amanda, what was something that that you did to really find your character, and the same thing for you, Kat?
Oh God. Personally, I was going through a lot of stuff with my relationship, and I know you're not supposed to put too much personal, but you always find a connection with a character, and there was a lot of connections that I felt with the role of Kathy, and I dove into that. I was like, I feel this connection. I'm going to fully swim in this. And that helped me connect with her so much more. And also what's going on in the world and with women's rights and everything always up in the air, and men always wanting to take away what is our choice. It helped me connect with her even more. I think the political climate helped as well. So it's like emotional, personal, and just life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Kat?
So I've always been more of an outside in actor. You know, I love the body and movement. And so for me, something that I definitely relied on a lot was like not only how Avery like moves and like lives in this space, you know, like for me, I'm superstitious about a lot of things. I always have to like touch my set because I need to like remind it that I'm there. It's just weird, the little weird things that I do, but the costumes. So even in the rehearsal process, I tried to always make sure that I was, you know, in my own way, what I understood Avery to be in each rehearsal. It's like I just needed to have a little something that was there that I could always check in with to remind myself that I'm her right now. Because again, with trying to cast doubt out the window during the process, like those are little things that help you snap out of it. Like wearing a bandana, like making sure I was wearing baggier shirts or like a little shirt over. Which helped so much when I actually got to have the amazing costumes designed by Angie Esposito.
You know what I'm saying? Big shout out.
In collaboration with ourselves. It was a super collaborative process with Angie. And what I thought so interesting was, you know, we curated this, right? All in like one day. We did our major fitting. And then when we finally show up to Main Street Theater for our first day of tech, she had these images of all of the costumes that we tried on, and she created the arcs for our wardrobe.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting that at all. And
Right.
so it was so cool to just step into like where Avery now is in the story through her wardrobe. And I think that it changed a lot throughout the show. And that just helped. Like, that was the final touch for me. Once I was like in her clothes, she was finally there.
Wow. How do you guys dictate what is a good performance and a bad performance, if there is such a thing as a good or a bad performance? And yeah, does the involvement of the audience, the roars of the laughter and the claps, does that play a role for you? If maybe last night there's a certain scene that got an applause break, and then tonight it doesn't, does that fuck with you? Does it not? Talk to me about that.
I don't think that it fucks with me. I think that, like, as far as the audience, like if the audience isn't receiving the story, this is what I tell myself. I take it a little selfishly and I say, you know what? If I'm not able to gauge how the audience is receiving the story right now, then I guess this show is really just for me. Because somebody recently, an actor, described to me I never really liked bowing on stage. And he was like, well, have you ever looked at it as that you're saying thank you to the audience who is there watching your performance? And I was like, how have I been acting since like the 6th grade? And this is the first time that I hear that that's what a bow is supposed to be. And then I was able to connect it to like the Greeks and why we did it. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. But it was never said to me. So I just never took it that way. And I always looked at it, it's like a personal thing. And so I kind of do the opposite of that, right? If I'm not getting that from the audience, then it's like, well, then this is just tonight's for me. Tonight's my reminder of why I love doing what I do. Because even if I can't tell if the audience is with me, like I'm with me. I support what I do and I support everyone that I'm on stage with right now. And clearly I just need to make that very obvious, like to my partners, that I'm here for you. I'm listening to what you have to say. And don't worry if it's really just you and me in the room right now anyway, right? Mm-hmm. We could just do it, the two of us. If there was no one in the room, we did it for 4 weeks while we were rehearsing with Annie.
Just for me.
Amanda?
So it's really funny how you say the bowing thing, because every time I would come up and bow, I felt so awkward. So thank you. That really makes me think, man, it's saying thank you to them. And I think the audience did shift how we felt and reacted. For me, it did, at least, especially with like laughter in certain moments. Like, I know there was just certain moments where we thought a laugh would be, and then there wouldn't. And sometimes it would make me question like, oh, well, what was wrong with that moment? And after a while, you just have to say, I don't care. I am doing this for the person I'm connecting with on stage, with our moments that we had, with Kat and I, in our moments, Lori and Laura. It was the moments we were creating with each other. And if the audience was taking it in, they were taking it in. But I couldn't keep that in my mind if they weren't laughing at this moment. No, I just kept on going with it. And there were moments where I felt like I was either tired or disconnected. And I was like, okay, what am I doing? And I would like try to switch what was going on and shake off the doubt, because the doubt cripples you within live theater.
Yeah, 100%. What was the arc for you, the performance arc for you, as far as opening night or previews and closing night?
So after the first weekend of the show, our run crew, our light board and sound operator, Tristan.
Big shout out Tristan. Big
Yes.
shout out Tristan.
So I would actually, like, we would drive together. I would drop him off after a couple of the performances. And man, we loved like analyzing the show, going into details. And I loved picking his brain as someone who came in after the rehearsal process, right? Just for tech. So he had this beautiful like idea of our show and also got to watch it evolve. And I honestly have Tristan to thank for helping me to find those deeper layers within Avery. She actually does have like her own romantic interest in the show. You never meet him. You only hear all about him. His name's Lucas. And he's a terrible guy.
Filmmaker. He's a filmmaker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure he is. I'm sure that reality show gets picked up. We just don't want Avery's black eye to happen for nothing. But yeah, so it was Tristan who helped me to he just identified like a couple of lines that were out of context from her talking about her boyfriend, that he was like, it made him think about her saying it because of her relationship with her boyfriend. And after having those discussions with him, I started to really tap in. And that was actually after the first weekend. So by the time we got to the second weekend of performances, I read through the script again to kind of find more of those nuances, because I couldn't believe that I had like overlooked that layer. I knew where the relationship was going, but I didn't see like the little gifts that Gina had like dipped in prior. Like there's a line where Avery is taught, well, she's being interrogated by Amanda a little bit about like, oh, so you're saying that like, why can't we have both in a relationship? Why can't it be an equal spread? And she's like, someone has to sacrifice. You
50-50.
can't have both. And I'm like doubting her, you know, and then finally she gives me this, she gives a little analogy of this person's they get an awesome job offer over here. Like, but you're settled here. Would you pick up and move away? Or would you be okay if they stayed with you where you are because of what you're doing? And my character is like, well, if he's willing to give it up that easily, then he didn't care enough about it. And I was initially,
My point is,
giving
someone has to sacrifice.
Exactly. And that's her
We'll
realization.
do a show right now, bro.
Yeah, right. We still got it in us.
You want to be no?
But the realization that the reason why Avery felt that way in that moment was because if she agreed with it, then it means that she's the one who's making the sacrifice, because she let her boyfriend leave to pursue his dream, and she's just here stuck at home waiting for him. So she had to, in that moment, she has to refute it. That's the stakes. And I wasn't necessarily tapping into that moment right there. I was taking it like she's in class right now. She's just having a discussion. And so, yeah, that was just like one of the many layers. But it started, I think it was the Sunday of our first weekend.
Wow.
I say all that to say it was that.
No, that was beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, every single week, you know what I'm saying? We have three segments. And the second one is actually the movie review of the week. And in this beautiful segment, I asked my illustrious guest for a suggestion, a recommendation for a film, a TV show, whatever the case. We'll definitely do some shameless plugs as far as what everybody is currently working on later on down the line. But yeah, talk to me as far as a movie, a TV show, something that you would give 5 out of 5 stars to, something that maybe you're binging, you've already binged, something along those lines. Danny, let's start with you, my brother.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I got to admit, after God knows how many years, I finally watched The Sopranos.
Okay.
Yeah, finally got on the Sopranos train. Me and Shannon watched it together. It took a while, but it was good. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah?
You could see why from 1999 to 2008 it was the most popular fucking show on TV, because it's literally mafia drama, and I'm a big mafia buff. So
Did you finish it already?
No-brainer. Yeah.
And what you think of that finale?
You know what? I knew it was coming, right? Because I remember in 2008 when the finale happened, and there was this giant uproar, so I knew how it was going to end.
Okay.
Did I think it was fitting? Sure. But I also thought it was a little like pretentious, you know, like the writers sort of just outsmarting themselves and trying to just leave it open-ended. Like who was, you know, why was the daughter so late? Like who was walking into the diner at that last moment? Certainly Tony the show could have used a more satisfying ending, sure. But I also get what they did. Sometimes writers want to say, I'm not going to give you that satisfying ending. I'm going to say, fuck you. I'm going to give you the most unsatisfying ending, and you're going to like it. But you know what? It still ended better than Game of Thrones. So,
That's all I was thinking about when you were talking. I was like, Game of Thrones.
Still ended better than Game of Thrones. So if you haven't watched The Sopranos, fucking 15 years later, 20 years later, go check it out. It's
There
great.
we go. Amanda?
So there's a movie on Netflix. It's a new one with Rebel Wilson. It's called Senior Year. Oh my God. It was so funny. I loved it. And it really took me back to like when I had like Britney Spears and NSYNC posters on my wall, because it goes from her being in senior year, her goal and aspiration is to be the prom queen. And then, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to spoilers here. She gets into a coma, wakes up, and it's like her brain is still 17, but her body's 37. And she has to go through her senior year all over again as a 37-year-old woman. And it's really funny. And it's a lot of nostalgia as well watching it. But Rebel Wilson kicks ass in that role. It was so good.
There we go. Okay.
She really does.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice. It's so good.
I saw it twice.
So
too.
good.
Oh my God.
I'm also going to recommend a TV show. Can I say two?
Of course.
Okay. So the first one, they're both on HBO. So the first one, specifically because we're talking about Rapture, Blister, Burn, for all of my people looking for a wonderful female empowered television show, Big Little Lies is the one for you. Unfortunately, there are only 2 seasons, but I don't like to binge. I like to kind of give myself some time now. I've been traumatized after binging some other shows. So I think it's an awesome show to kind of just like watch an episode at a time, take a couple of days to digest what you've seen. But it explores the lives of mothers in a suburban community, but they're on like upper middle class. And so it just has an all-star cast. You got Reese Witherspoon, Zoe Kravitz, Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep joins in season 2. Like
Damn.
so many breakout performances that you see in this show because it's executive produced by Reese Witherspoon. So she knew what she was doing when she cast all of these women who are all wonderful friends outside of the show. And it just tackles some really, really heavy topics that a lot of older women have to go through, especially mothers. Dealing with addictions and also staying in an abusive relationship because of the children. It explores some of those themes. So I recommend that one. And then another one that I recommend that is, I think, still releasing episodes. Episode 5 just came out, is called The Staircase.
Oh, yeah.
So that one stars Toni Collette and Colin Firth. And it's the story of that. His name is leaving me right now. Michael something. It's the man who... this was like 20 years ago, but he was a public face in his town, and then his wife mysteriously passed away in like a bloody mass on her staircase. And so he was put up on trial for the murder of his wife, and then he was sentenced as guilty. And they made a documentary during his trial and a little bit afterwards because the documentarian believed that he was innocent, and they wanted to show all sides of the story. And so the HBO show is a retelling incorporating what the documentary says and what may have also been another narrative of the story.
Okay.
And it's an excellent, I think, portrayal of what may have happened. Showing you the other side and also the corruption in like the justice system. 100%.
Damn. Okay. Phenomenal suggestions all the way around. Actually, last night I was browsing through and I actually saw a movie by Dario Argento. So I thought that was interesting. You know what I'm saying? I was like, ain't that a small world? So I thought that was a small world. Thank you for those suggestions, ladies and gentlemen. Amanda, I want to know, how difficult was it, and Kat as well, but I know, Amanda, you had a behemoth of text to memorize for this production. And I don't want to say that it was down to the last week, but it was down to the last week. So talk to us about that process.
I think it was like down to the last 3 days.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that honest.
It's okay.
If you could have called line opening night, you probably would.
Oh, 100%.
Damn,
No, I'm kidding.
man.
I'm kidding. If it makes you feel better, I never had a doubt you'd learn your lines.
Yeah.
Ever.
Honestly, when you asked about the transitional thing, I didn't get to answer. But
So answer now.
I will.
There you
So after our poor review from Bill Hirschman and my mother's critiques,
Big shout out Bill Hirschman. That's my dog, man.
Yeah,
oh, man. That's my dog, bro.
so
You brought it up. I didn't.
I know, I had to.
I didn't.
But with his review as well as my mom's critique, because she's my number one fan, but she's also my number one critic, it made me get out of my head and not think of the lines as much, because that's something that I, as an actor, I have a problem with, where I am too set on the lines, where it's like, if I got it wrong, and it's like, oh, I messed up. I said that word wrong. Like, it could be one word. And it's like, my whole performance was awful because of that. And it's just like, no, it's okay. get out of your head, get out of your own way, and just do it. And feeling things and like really like diving into that and not acting so much, but really feeling what I was saying helped me. And it helped me connect with the text even more. I think the first week of shows was hard for me, but I think I needed it to get to week 2 and like beyond that. And every performance just got better and better, and not just for me, for all of us.
That's very true. Very true. Danny, talk to us. I mean, it was brought up. I gotta ask, what are your 2 cents on reviews? Does it bother you? Do you not care? Does it play a role in your life at all? Talk to us.
No, it doesn't really bother me. Reviewers are there to do a job, and they do it. And Bill, you'll always be welcome in our theater, and I love and appreciate you because for better or worse, they get the word out. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know, they don't really bother me. Even as an actor, they didn't really bother me. But that's mostly because, again, I don't really care about other people's opinion. I mostly care about my own opinion and what's going on in my own head. So I don't really let it get to me. I never have, and I never really will. So.
Do you read reviews before going to watch the show yourself?
Not really. More for movies, to be honest with you, because
True.
you know, when I go see a show, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Like we were discussing earlier, you go to support the art and you go to support the artist. But for a movie, since I'm not a movie star, I won't watch a movie if someone says it's trash, unless it's like good trash, where you know you're just gonna watch garbage, but you love it. Yeah. You know, yeah. But if you know if there's a big hot movie that's out and people are like, oh, it's great, but then you know you read a couple reviews and you know your friends are saying it's great, but the reviewers are saying it's shit. It's probably shit. So, but definitely not when it comes to theater. I always try to go out no matter if a show is good or bad. And again, reviewers, they're just doing a job. You know what I mean? They're like the traffic cop that pulls you over for speeding. They're just doing their job.
There you go.
So.
There
I
you go.
appreciated it. I honestly did. I was like, you know what? I called it a poor review, not a bad review, because it gave me something. As an actor, I think we always have to keep on learning and growing. And if we're only being told we're good and we're great, we're only going to stay at a subpar level.
That's true.
You need to challenge yourself. And that review challenged me, challenged you. And it's like, no, screw this. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to prove the next reviewer is wrong. And we did.
Yeah.
Kat?
I would like to quote the great Lori Reyes, who played the character of Alice in our show, who said,
Oh, God.
opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
And so I totally agree with Danny. I think that I love reviews. I read reviews for just about everything from restaurants to movies to theater shows. And we actually talked about this. I told you, I probably jinxed our production, honestly, when I was like, I love reviews, bad or good. I love them all. Because for me, I love being present when I'm watching a show. So if I know that I'm going to go watch a show, for me, it actually helps to read the reviews because I don't mind spoilers. It's my craft. Like if I'm going to be pissed off about spoilers, like I just think that's unrealistic. Like for me personally as an actor. But also I like to know about elements that I might not be able to pick up on my own because I trust that critics, they just have seen so much, you know, they just have so much experience. They've seen so many shows. So I like reading other reviews, you know, and I love the tea, you know, so I like hearing when they didn't like something and I kind of like try to read between the lines, you know, because usually sometimes it's also about so much more than the performance. It's about the specific theater right now with the pandemic. It's about their COVID protocols or their spaced seating or the process to just get inside of the theater or parking or something like that. There are so many things that go into a review. So I always enjoy, you know, just hearing what they have to say. I have my favorites, but I still respect all of them. I think they're interesting. And they help me out when I'm going to go see a show like if I'm going to go see a show that's like super meta, I would like to know a little bit beforehand about like why they're making those choices so that I can inform myself a little bit instead of sitting there watching it like, what is going on? I'm lost. What's happening? Yeah.
What's one thing that each one of you have taken away from this entire experience?
ladies.
I am capable of memorizing a behemoth amount of lines. Is that a real word? Behemoth? Okay, yes.
Behemoth.
Behemoth. Thank you. I say words wrong sometimes, but yeah. And also, I think the connection made with everyone really made me fall in love with theater again, and I'm beyond grateful that I'm taking that with me.
I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I'm just so grateful to have had the opportunity to play with a character who really lights up the room. It showed me, I believe that every character that I've played shows me a new part of myself. And like having the opportunity to play Avery just showed me how fun I am as a person and how much I can trust my impulses, that like I am funny, and I don't think that I don't want to discredit Gina's work. I wouldn't say that I think it's neither a comedy nor a drama. I think it's just a slice of life, and all of its wonderment within. So it's not that Avery was a funny character to play, but she just saw life as one big joke, like as one big experience to laugh at and make the most of, just say how you feel. And it just showed me a lot that like someone trusted me to bring a character like that to life. Damn. And I take that with me now.
That's beautiful. Danny.
Wow. I don't know. It's tough. To me, like, I know it's obviously for you guys, it's a tremendous experience to be in a show and yada, yada, yada. But, we do 5 shows a year. So for me, it's just another show. But I would say that more than anything, I'm grateful that MSP has a home. Again, I'm grateful to the Graham companies that they trusted us throughout the whole last, call it like 12 to 15 months, that they worked with us hand in hand and that they let us build a theater and they didn't give up on us. They could have easily told us to pound sand and go somewhere else. And honestly, that would have been the end of MSP. I mean, I told them that when we were first entering the negotiations for the lease agreement. I was like, guys, like, there's no other place for us. Like, if we're not on Main Street, we don't exist. So my biggest takeaway is that MSP continues on for the next however many years they want us to be there, and that we have a home and we have trustworthy and capable stewards of the theater moving forward to continue to do what we do for the community of Miami Lakes.
Damn. Can we get a address drop one more time? What is it?
6812 Main Street, motherfucker.
There we go. There we go. Miami Lakes. You know what I'm saying? Big rep, big rep, big rep. Right. Guys, talk to me as far as, before we get to our last segment, what are you guys currently working on? I know the next Main Street production is well underway. Auditions recently concluded. Talk to us about Black Sheep.
Well, before I get into Black Sheep, this weekend MSP is putting up a show called Oscunero. It's an all-student production, completely written, directed, acted, designed by students of Kat's former school, New World School of the Arts. Angie Esposito is a teacher there, and she saw it back in April, came to the next board meeting and was like, guys, the show is awesome. We have to try to find a way to do it. So we snuck it in there during Memorial Day weekend. It starts Thursday night at 8 p.m., Friday 8 p.m., Saturday 2 shows, 2 and 8 p.m., and then Sunday at 2. And we're really excited. I literally just left there. They're doing their tech. They're in there working their little tails off.
Hell yeah.
And I'm really excited to see that. And then, of course, Black Sheep, which opens on July 22nd. Brandon Urrutia will be directing it. He is a graduate of FIU as well and a former MSP Children's Camp student. So he really got his theater career started, you could say, when he was like 13 years old at MSP Summer Camp, and I'm really excited about that. It's a very good cast. It's a very funny show. Runs July 22nd to August 14th, Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m., Sunday, 2 p.m. So come check it out if you're in the Miami Lakes area or really in the Tri-County area, because it's definitely going to be worth it.
Hell yeah. Okay. I love all the shameless plugs. Amanda, talk to us. What are you currently working on, if anything?
So on Friday, I just finished doing a short with Soul Snack Studios. They do short YouTube videos, and I've been a part of 4 now, which has been awesome, getting to do film. And Then I'll be starting Fright Night with the Abyss Theater Company in Fort Lauderdale. I'll be rehearsing for that, and that will open, I believe, July 6th to August 7th. And then I'm working for Miami Children's Museum, and we're doing a short children's play. And I get to be a part of that. I get to be a ninja.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
I see it.
All
Okay.
acting.
All acting. All acting. Kat.
So I'm currently in the Cuban vote at Miami
Okay,
New
okay.
Drama.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The crew made it out there the other day. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful
Yes.
production. Okay.
So happy to have you guys there. Oh my gosh, giving me my support on my first performance because I actually jumped in. So the show was received so well. This is a world premiere of a play called The Cuban Vote, written and performed by Carmen Peláez, a pivotal person in Miami right now, both politically and as an artist and filmmaker. And so she wrote this beautiful play about politics and love in Miami, and it is very Miami. So for all of the locals listening, it's definitely a show you guys don't want to miss, and it's hilarious. And I got to join for their extension. It was received so well. They added on 3 more weekends to the show. And we have 2 more weeks left. You can see it until June 5th. Performances Thursday through Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8, and Sundays at 3 p.m. Beautiful show.
go.
And then once I close that, I'll actually be jumping right into a feature film that I'm shooting.
Okay.
All summer long.
Non-stop. Okay.
Yeah. It's called Red Devil Rum. It's really a thriller horror because in the script there are some jump scares inside of it. So
Okay.
I'm really excited.
I love a good horror movie, I'll tell you that. All very exciting things. And then also, is there not a podcast that you are starting yourself, as well as, you know what I'm saying, the crew behind us? Okay. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So I have been working for the past, I'd say, better part of 2 months now, planning and curating the perfect podcast with my good friends Pamela Sugamitsu and Teresa Cusidor.
Okay.
Tess and Pam. And we have decided to call our podcast, it's called High Tea Mystique.
Okay.
And so we'll be a great source for you guys if you're looking to find out some new perspectives on modern mysticism, different ideas of philosophy and living a life, all centered around trying out different new teas. That's kind of like what we're basing it around, is like sharing ideas that we maybe have never vocalized before, but in a safe space. And then getting to try some new teas that are actually, tea is also a medicine, and so finding teas that are based around the topic for that week.
Okay.
So you guys get to try those teas with us and
Very cool.
learn some tea too.
Awesome. Well, check them out. Let them know that we sent you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. That is amazing.
Thank you for the
Congratulations.
shout out.
Of course. And ladies and gentlemen, our last segment for the week, you know what I'm saying? It is the quest for the truth. You know what I'm saying? And in this beautiful segment, I ask you guys a random emphasis on the word random question.
I love this.
Kind of like the entire damn show. From this here deck of cards, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's going to be. It could be deep. It could be shallow. I don't know. But here we go. All right, guys. Danny. And that gives you guys a little bit more time to think about your answer. Describe a time when you sabotaged your own success.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. That's kind of a hard question.
It's a motherfucker.
Sabotage my own success. Yeah, I guess without getting into too many details and naming too many names, I'll just say that in my early 20s, I probably made some comments to several people in the community who I was working with at the time that were maybe not as nice. I could definitely be very blunt and very direct, and if I lose respect for you, then I really got, I don't even give you a monicum of respect. Like, for me, respect is all or nothing. So you either get 110% or you get fucking 0. And there was an individual who I had 0 respect for. Through the course of conversations via email, I expressed that respect. And let's just say that then that email got spread around to the entire theater community behind my back. And yeah, I got blackballed. I didn't act again for a couple years, and I had people emailing me like, hey man, you did this and this, and I was like, wow, this individual like threw my dirty laundry out there like that. That's why you have zero fucking respect from me. But again, sabotaging my own success is kind of an odd way to phrase it, because at the end of the day, I feel like every individual determines and measures success in their own way. So I never felt like I was sabotaging my own success, because fuck that person. I never respected that person to begin with. So that person wasn't putting food on my table or bringing anything to my life. So I continued onward, and I got to work at my real job for a while. And, now I run MSP. So that never really sabotaged my respect. But I definitely learned that you can't always just be a dick all the time.
Oh, yeah.
As much as you want to be.
Amen. Amen, brother. Amanda, talk to us about a time. What is it? Describe a time when you sabotaged your own success.
I think moving to New York, as great of an experience as it was and learning experience, I think I could have grown and done more projects and been more successful here if I stayed in Florida and kept growing my connections. I feel like sometimes you think, oh, if I move to a bigger city, if I do this, but sometimes like building your resume and putting that work into your own hometown, it really does wonders. And sometimes I think, man, I wonder what I would have done if I would have stayed. But you know what? I grow from it, but I think that definitely would have, it stopped a momentum of success.
Kat?
One time I had this audition that I was on set actually in the morning. I had like an 8 a.m. call, and they told us that we were going to be done by, I don't know, let's say it was like, they told us we were going to be done by a certain time, and we ran late. But I was willing to run late because they had given me like this one little additional thing, and I was like, oh yay, more screen time. But I did have an audition that I needed to get to, and I had planned it so that I would have time to prep, because actors audition prep is a real thing. It is very important, and you always need to do it if you're not about to read a script. You always need to give yourself at least like 30 minutes, even if it's just sitting in your car, to go over your shit. And so I forewent that by staying to record this other piece. And so when I got to the audition, I was so flustered. I didn't have a chance to look over my script. I was actually their very first audition of the day, which, as you know, is like something I like to do. I like to be one of the first faces that they see. And I walked in there, and I just relied on my personality, which is never a bad thing to do, but when it came time for me to let them know what pieces I was doing, I blanked on the name of my Shakespeare character, which is like so shameful. I'm ashamed to say that I went to New World School of the Arts and then blanked on the name of my Shakespeare character before starting an audition, because, auditions are everything. And I had never met this wonderful man before. And so blanking like on a slate was just like, I sabotaged myself. I should have really prioritized both jobs equally, said, no, I need to leave now. Like, this is my call time, set's over. I need to move on to my next thing, so that I could have been properly prepared and remember the name of my character.
Damn, okay.
It was Phoebe from As You Like It.
Oh, I love that one.
It's a great one.
It's so good.
Phenomenal answers all the way around. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start wrapping up this powerhouse of an episode that we have had today, I do kind of want to get into one last thing, which is the everlasting balance that most actors have to do, which is finding a day job that will allow you to, pursue a career in the arts, pursue auditions, how sporadic they may be and how last minute they may be. Talk to us about that never-ending struggle.
So right now I work at Miami Children's Museum as an actor for their theater troupe. And then I also do wine tastings for a company called Ume. It's a plum liqueur. So I get to do that, which in a way is kind of acting as well. Like, it's my goal. Like, I make sales. And so those are the two main jobs I have. And then when I do any theater gigs or any film work, I'm also making sure that I get paid for that, because no matter what, like, I love the craft. I love to do what I do. But at the end of the day, I went to school for this. I paid a lot of money for my education. And I want to make sure that I hold myself to a certain regard and as a businesswoman within this industry. And I make sure that any production or any project I do is paid. I no longer do free work, and that helps financially as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Kat?
So I'm actually a tour guide. I do duck tours, South Beach.
There we go.
Half on land, half in the water. I mean, duck tours, famous in Boston and a few other like port cities. So it's a great job for me. It's an hour and a half tour. It's super fast. It has the most flexible schedule in the world. It's predominantly a daytime schedule. I'm never out after dark, which is perfect for the theater world. Rehearsals are usually at nighttime. Performances are always at nighttime. Super flexible job, and it keeps my performance chops warm because my tours are always about 50 people on board.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just taking them around South Beach, and the more fun you can make the tour, the more fun everyone has. And honestly, when I look at it as a performer, instead of like being like a historian of the city, it elevates my tours so much. So I actually highly recommend, like, for any actors, Miami is a great city for tourism, and there are jobs for guides all over. I could be working in Little Havana right now, but I fell in love with the beach, and so I love being out on the water.
Awesome. And Danny, talk to us.
Well, I think it's absolutely essential if you're going to live in South Florida as an artist. You have to have a day job. Unfortunately, this is not a city with enough work to support you. And, it's just the cost of living here is astronomically high now, but it was even high before. And again, there's just not enough theaters. There's not enough of a community here to support even an average middle-class lifestyle. So it's absolutely imperative that you have a day job. I have a day job. I work in my family's elevator company. Shout out Concept Elevator.
There we go.
And, the main thing, obviously, I really enjoy working there. I enjoy working with my family, but it really affords me the ability to do theater stuff. And honestly, I don't really get paid a lot to do theater stuff. Most of the time, I don't get paid anything at all. But that's not why I do theater. If I wanted to do theater for the money, I'd be panhandling on the side of the road, most likely. So I enjoy my day job because, again, I don't work with any artists. Artists can be maddening. After a while.
Oh, yeah.
After a 100%. While, you want to be with normal people.
100%.
And you want
shout out MMA, bro.
You want to be with blue collar individuals, and Concept gives me that opportunity, and we make a really cool product. So, but you got to have a job if you're gonna act. You absolutely have to.
Okay. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, what an episode of colossal proportions we have had today. Can we please give it up for our guests today, Kat, Amanda, and Danny? Guys, thank you so much for dropping on by today. I truly, truly, truly do appreciate it. My heart has not been the same since the closing of our show. The first weekend that we didn't perform, I was like, what the fuck is going on with all this free time?
It was weird.
Yeah, it was. Kat, I commend you on a phenomenal performance, and I'm very ecstatic for the rest of your run on the Cuban boat. Amanda, I wish you nothing but the best when you begin rehearsals for Fright Night. Danny, I'm sure Black Sheep is going to be an absolute banger as every single MSP production. You know what I'm saying? And before we wrap up, I do wrap up with one final question, and I'm going to hit you guys with this. Yes, if you could tell anything to the version of yourself from 3 years ago, what would it be? Kat, go ahead.
I would tell the me from 3 years ago to relax. I would tell her to relax, that everything is gonna be just fine, girl. So calm down. Stop trying to plan your life out 5 years ahead. You're an actor. You cannot plan out more than like 6 months of your life. And that's a stretch, as it is.
If that.
So yeah, just to remind her that like a gratifying life as an artist is not one that is set in stone. It's about being flexible, going with the flow, and rolling with the punches. Yeah, that's what I would tell her, because me 3 years ago, she was really intense. And she wanted to have a plan, and the world showed her that just can't happen. Yeah. And I'm grateful for it every step of the way.
Amanda?
Don't give up. You got this.
That's beautiful. Danny?
Buy a house.
Gang.
Buy a fucking house
Black and
right
white.
now.
Right now.
Right now.
There you go.
Shit, 18 months ago, I would have told myself that.
Shit. Ladies and gentlemen, every single Thursday at midnight, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You go on Spotify, you go on Deezer, you go on Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. But more than anything, you go on YouTube. That's why we got 72 damn cameras in here, so you can see everybody's beautiful face. You know what I'm saying? Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button on the Instagram, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? You see it on the screen. Hit them with a follow. You know what I'm saying? You see their Instagrams on the screen as well. Let them know that we sent you every Thursday at midnight. You know what it is. Holla!
And it don't matter what the world thinks. You can say how you feel on midnight in Miami. When you can push it to the limit, it gets real without